Okay, so, all right, so at this time, I'm going to swear in our new trustees, and I'll ask Mr. Michael J. Alonso to join me, and any members of the audience that would like to come up during the ceremony. And then we'll get a photo at the very end.
Tell my kids, like, do we have to go up and like that? Yes. No, she doesn't.
Okay.
My sister came because she's on her way to soccer, and my daughter came because she's on her way to drop off her friends.
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States and this state,
established in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I, Michael J. Alonso,
I, Michael J. Alonso,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law for the office of a member of the Board of Education,
prescribed by law for a member of the office of the Board of Education,
that I am not disqualified as a voter,
that I am not disqualified as a voter,
nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense,
nor disqualified due to a conviction of a crime or offense,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
and justly perform
perform
all the duties of that office,
all the duties of that office,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Oh, yeah, I see she's holding hands.
Next up, Mr. Munoz. There's Chris. Why don't you get on one side? Good. That's it. Okay. I, Christopher Munoz,
I, Christopher Munoz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and this state
and this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I, Christopher Munoz,
I, Christopher Munoz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law for the office of a member of the Board of Education,
prescribed by law for the office of a member of the Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter,
and I am not disqualified as a voter,
disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense,
disqualified to a conviction of crime or offense,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties
and justly perform all the duties
of that office
of that office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Superintendent. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Back on board. Congratulations.
Maria, yourself, and any members of your family that would like to come up. We could squeeze them all.
It's okay. Oh, my babies.
Nice. If I come down, I'll be almost the same. I'll hold it out a little bit, a little easier. I, Maria Vallata,
I, Maria Vallata,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and the governments established in the United States
and this state
and this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I, Maria Vallata,
I, Maria Vallata,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of a member of the Board of Education,
for the office of a member of the Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter,
and I am not disqualified as a voter,
nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense,
nor disqualified due to conviction of crime or offense,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of that office
all the duties of that office,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
If I didn't screw you up, Okay.
Off to soccer, have to drop everybody off.
Go have dinner, celebrate your swearing in without you.
Yeah. And then you won't see them until way, way.
They will be in bed.
Okay, I'd like to open up the open workshop for the organization meeting. Just a quick notice, this is an organization meeting of the Bayonne Board of Education. Each of you is a trustee. We have no officers as yet, and will not have any until the required election, which will enable us to be legally organized. This is also a regular meeting, and there will be some resolutions to dispose of. I will act as presiding officer until the president has been elected. Okay? I'll take a roll call. Trustee Alonso.
Present.
Trustee Bravo.
Here.
Trustee Pruden.
Here.
Trustee Desmond.
Here.
Trustee Finnerty.
Here.
Trustee Munoz.
Here.
Trustee Ryan.
Here.
Trustee Vallata.
Here.
Trustee Wilben.
Here.
So we'll start with our agenda and your packets that are in front of you. These are exactly the same that were sent home. We really haven't made any changes other than changes in dates since our meeting that was organized for Thursday night was snowed out due to a blizzard, along with many of the districts in the state that needed to change the date of their organization meeting. Okay, so just to let you know, acceptance of communications. You'll see a notice from myself about the organization meeting, and also you'll see a communication from the county clerk's office on the school board election results. Okay, now we'll do that by a resolution. Do I have a volunteer that would like to move communication? I'll move. Trustee Munoz,
I'll second.
and there's a second by trustee Desmond. I'll ask everyone to turn to their second page, and I will start with the consent agenda, which starts with resolution A1. Just to bring our new members up to date, there are certain resolutions that we do yearly at our reorganization meeting, and that's what we'll start with today. So A1 is just our bylaws and policies that are accepted by the Board of Education. And would I have a trustee that would like to move and second the consent agenda? So a motion by trustee Wilbeck will accept consent, and a second, trustee Kruger. And I'll get these signed later. Okay. So that's A1. A2 is our delegates to our New Jersey School Board Association. We usually have one delegate and alternate. Last year, trustee Lawande was the delegate, trustee Wilbeck was the alternate. So any suggestions or volunteers from the board who would like to be added to this year's resolution? So we need a delegate to New Jersey School Board.
Can you give a little quick what that entails, so people understand clearly?
Usually what it was, there was a half-year convention and maybe an end-of-the-year convention, so it relied on 2 meetings a year, if I'm not mistaken. And you were a delegate. If something happened at the state level, obviously Bayonne had a vote in whatever changes in policies or bylaws or things like that. So, but I think the physical time commitment is 2 meetings biannually? Biannually.
And the meetings take place where?
Usually down at the headquarters,
Triton.
unless they picked a separate location centrally located.
And it's during the day or evening?
Usually they were either evenings or weekends.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Alonso.
I'll second that.
Would you accept that?
I accept.
Okay. Then there's a, trustee Alonso would be the delegate, and how about an alternate, just in case?
I'll be an alternate.
Mary Jane will be an alternate, okay.
Okay,
I'll second.
the board, so that's how we'll do it. Okay. Moving ahead, A3, also we do yearly, are depositories of our school money. Okay, pretty much the resolution self-explanatory. A4 is payroll and signing of warrants, which will be our president and our vice president after the elections. We'll fill that resolution in. A5 is our delegate and our alternate to the Hudson County School Board Association. Last year, it was trustee Munoz, and the alternate was trustee Desmond. These work quarterly.
Seriously?
Thank God we never had to use you, trustee.
Oh, I would have known it.
But I know they're trying to meet monthly, but,
I would like to nominate myself to continue.
I'll second that.
board's good with that, we'll do that.
Dr. May, is that
It's
the one that's usually held at La Regia, the restaurant
It's
there?
usually held in Hudson County. They may change restaurant, meeting to meeting, but it's a Hudson County
It's my
meeting.
understanding, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I was a freeloader, I don't know, but my understanding is most trustees are invited to attend those meetings. I get the NJSBA newsletter, and
Yeah.
that's there. In fact, there's one that's being held quite soon.
I think they're just so happy with whatever attendance they get. It's not just the delegates, they do open up an
Yeah.
invitation.
Official delegate.
Does everyone-
Yeah, we had gone to a few.
But I did attend one meeting last year that was just the county
That's it,
delegates.
because there
So
may
it's a
be,
different one, yeah. So, yeah.
And the monthly meetings, they have a great understanding of having a meeting when we do.
Yes, I was just gonna say
Seems like
that.
every time we've had something.
Yeah, the second meeting, we
Now-
had a meeting.
Even when they reschedule them, they reschedule them for our meetings.
as Mr. Broderick said, and what'll happen tomorrow, after we okay our meeting schedule for the year, we forward that to the county.
Okay.
So the county does have our meetings, hopefully us getting it to them this early, they may reconsider some of the dates, because you're absolutely right, a lot of the meeting dates were the same night as our meeting. So do I have an alternate?
I'll be an alternate. It's okay.
She didn't even know she was.
Should have made Ava, she likes to have free food.
Okay,
Anyway, that's why I don't even
A6
understand.
is
And I
our
know I
official
asked for it, but
newspapers.
there's no-
The Jersey Journal is our primary newspaper, followed by the Community News. Okay.
Excuse me, I do have a question about A3.
Sure.
We go back to A3. So it says that BCB will be our provider, our bank, which they have been for years, right? It's not, but is that not kind of like a bid service as well? Like, I mean, or do we choose? Is it our discretion, or is it
It's
something
also Provident Bank too.
Yeah, Provident is listed there
as well? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, no, I was just wondering, because it was just, it was on there as far as,
Basically, money in, money out, there's no investment accounts.
okay,
there.
yeah, okay, no, that's, all right, thank you.
Primarily, Provident does the payroll and the other general fund items go through PCB, so.
A7. I think we'll have a little discussion on A7. So, basically, this is the same resolution that was out there in draft form, other than the change in the reorganization date. Our thought was to move our open workshops to 5 PM, our closed session, our regular meeting to 7:30 by law. I'm understanding that there might be a problem that 5 o'clock is too early for some members of the board. I just need some direction from the board. What would you like me, either leave it, change it?
What would you like, Mary Kay?
Since it's me, it's a problem. I mean, 5:30 even makes a difference. I'm coming through rush hour from Summit on 78. I'm leaving work an hour or an hour and a half, and depending on if it was 5 o'clock, it could be even earlier to get here. So even a half hour makes a difference.
I have no problem with
I could change it to 5:30 if that's what you'd like me to do.
Is that what you want,
Yeah, that's
5:30, or you want 6 o'clock?
Well,
This is the
this
time to
is the
say it.
first time ever, I would historically would say the first time ever, that meetings are held that early, because the public does come too.
You know what happened, what I think we did this was the fact that, at least in the past, I have to admit, these are moving much better now with our new format. But what we used to do was, we'd be here and that part,
I was here,
this
I know.
part of the meeting wouldn't be done to 8, you know what I mean? Like, and then we'd have like 2 or 3 issues, and then what I hated doing, the worst thing we ever did, I think, was when we come out, we say, all right, we'll start the meeting, and now we're going back in, and I think it just is, it just gives a terrible
Traditionally,
look, you
those are
know?
the things that happen at public board meetings.
Yeah.
There's things you cannot discuss. The whole point is being accessible to the public. So you start it when the public's available, and if you have to go inside and do stuff, you have to go inside and do stuff, but you still come back out. It's just the way, it's the nature, it's sunshine laws, it's the nature of how it works. Now, I understand wanting to start earlier, but you're still supposed to be accessible to the public. These are public workshops or open workshops. The public can't participate till later, but it is the workshop where you do most of your discussion and people can hear the dialogue, and if they're not here, it's like having a council meeting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. These are people that report to the public. Public can't be there at 1 o'clock. So I do have a little bit of an issue with it, but 5:30 would certainly make a huge difference.
I'll change it to 5:30, and I'll
Well,
explain my
I mean, there's
reasoning for
8 other
5
people.
o'clock was that sometimes the board doesn't understand because you're still finishing up business, but when I'm back out here, and we have started at 8, and then recessed immediately, and then went back inside, I think sometimes the public's even more angrier at coming at 8 and sitting till 9 before we got started. But I think 5:30, and I think the committee system is definitely working extremely well, and we could all see that in the last quarter. So between the committee meetings and 5:30, I think we'll be
And we
fine.
had an exceptional year, an exceptional 14, 15 months, like no other. So, I mean, there were a lot of meetings, a lot of stuff going on, which is why there was so much back and
So
forth.
I'm going to change this
I
to
don't want-
5:30, and that's what we'll vote on.
That wasn't a smooth year we went. Thought that was the good year.
Okay. In front of you were
Can we just stay on that 1 minute? Because
we can.
I've just disrupted things for 8 other people, and nobody else said anything. I feel bad.
I don't think you did.
One.
If you wanted to say anything, you could say it.
All right,
I'm okay
Thank
with
you.
5:30 or 6 if you want me to.
thank you. All right.
You,
One thing about this group is usually not shy.
no,
Usually not, yeah.
whichever share one opinion.
You have the same comments for the 5:30, right? It doesn't bother me either way.
Would it be helpful to start the second meeting at 8?
Yes. We can do that, right, Dr. Mayor? The second meeting doesn't have, I mean, we put.
by
7:30.
law, you could start
You
as
have to open it
early
by
as
8.
7:30. You cannot start after 8.
Can't start after 8. So we use that as like a cushion, just in case.
Yeah, I would
Still
leave
leave
Leave it at
still leave it at
Yeah.
7:30, because,
Just in case.
yeah.
In your packets, if I could borrow trustee every year, we do a packet for our annual ethics training to supplement what you're already getting from New Jersey school boards and from our attorneys, and then any visitations we may get from school board. You'll see this year in your table of contents, we've added a new section, understanding the reports of the board secretary. That is the handout that Mr. Brian DeLucia, our consultant, put together for us to maybe make that board secretary report a little easier to follow. Okay, so that's a piece that's been added to the training packet. So I ask you to use this as a supplement to what you're already doing through school boards. You'll see an acknowledgement form. If you would please just print and sign it, and then just leave it right in the middle of the table, and I'll pick them all up. And that'll be our. One other item that normally would have been at our meeting at the end of the month, but due to time, we weren't able to. We needed to get this done, and it's the acceptance of the PEEA grant. And you'll see this is Resolution A9, which was sent home to everyone. And then you'll get a breakdown in the back of the preschool classroom measurements. There's a little handout behind the resolution, okay? So we added that to the consent agenda. So that is our consent agenda, and it's going to be moved by trustee Wilbeck, and it'll be seconded by trustee Cruden. I'll turn to the next section, and then seeing that all of these have to be done inside, at this time, I'll turn the meeting over to the superintendent for some business, and then we'll break to go inside for closed session.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our new board members. As you know, we had to close school last Thursday and Friday due to the extreme winter storm. Our shop personnel did an excellent job clearing entries and lots. I extend our deep appreciation for a job well done. Also, during the winter break, we had snow removal. Again, our shop did an excellent job, but we had a water main break that affected several schools. And the next day, we had programs, for example, in the rink as well as some of the schools, and we needed to ensure that these programs could run. Midtown, for example, did not have any water on the 3rd floor, and we had the PAL using that building the next day. We had the PAL personnel come in, and they made the decision to close the program for that day. We did get the water up and running eventually, and the rink was okay because that was only the one level we had to worry about. Additionally, we had engineers in early to monitor the heat and check for frozen pipes. As a result, we only had issues at 4 schools, and these were minor issues. Lincoln, only a few rooms that inline addressed quickly. Midtown, the multi-purpose room, had no water on the 3rd floor, as I mentioned before. In Woodrow, we had a broken pipe, but that was not a heat issue. And Oresco, there was no heat in the gym and cafetorium. Inline also addressed that, and we were up and running within a few hours. I appreciate their help. As we've been discussing since I presented my 100-day plan, the Bayonne Board of Ed needed a new substitute management program. With your support and the hard work and commitment of our staff, I'm pleased to tell you that in just 4 working days, partnering with Source for Teachers, the substitute fill rate increased to 97.5%. This is amazing when you think only weeks ago our daily substitute fill rate was only at 50%. Mr. Lopez did a lot of work making this transition, and he will now present a detailed breakdown of our first few days using Source for Teacher. Mr. Lopez?
Thank you, Superintendent. I echo the words of our superintendent. I just like to thank our staff, from the wonderful secretaries I have in my office to our teachers, our teacher assistants, for everyone buying in to make this, basically as seamless and as smooth as can be transition. And, keeping with our #1 priority, keeping our kids safe and having a substitute teacher in front of those children. Like Dr. Walker said, we went from being at 50% for a long time to in 4 days up to 97.5. We went live on January 2nd. We saw a positive change right away. We went to 82.7%. On January 3rd, we were up to 90%. January 8th at 97.5, and today we're at 90.8. So it's going to vary. Just to go through what we went through today, we had 173 staff members that were out. 129 of those positions were filled. 13 were unfilled. So we still will use our principals and our assistant principals to make arrangements to make sure that those positions are covered. And then we had 31 positions that were not required or do not require a sub. And I have those breakdowns on a daily basis. If you ever need, or if you ever would like any information, there's plenty of reports that I could generate for you. Trustee Alonso, would you mind just passing that? Sure. Okay. That was a breakdown that we sent with the weekly packet. We can generate that on a daily basis. If you go through it, it not only tells you school by school, but if it's a reception aide, a teacher, a teacher aide, and if that teacher aide works lunch. So there are specific breakdowns that we can have. Now we're going to be able to follow trends. We are putting together the 2018-19 calendar. The calendar committee will be meeting, and we'll be looking at those trends to make sure that the days that we do see a high rate of teachers and teacher assistants being out, that we make adjustments to our calendar for the benefit of our students. Any questions on that? But again, I really can't say thank you enough to you for your support and our staff for doing a fine job of rolling us out, because again, I know your #1 priority is keeping our kids safe, and now having a certified staff member substitute in front of them, it's just a wonderful thing for everybody.
My only question is regarding the level of absenteeism, which seems a little bit high. Is that normal for this time of year historically? I mean, what, is there something?
Those include professional days. This is a general absence, so if someone's on a field trip, if they're on their professional day, they're all included in that. Anytime there's someone out and they're not going to be in front of their students, we need to provide a sub. But if you would like those specific, yes, but it is, I did look back to last year on those specific days, like the day we came back, the Friday before we left, the Thursday before we left, to try to get those trends in. We were at 50% of fill rate with the same amount of people that were out. That really never changes. What has changed now is that we actually have substitutes in front of the kids, yeah.
You should be getting
We've
it
actually
through
been
them.
discussing the changes in the calendar because of that situation back.
I heard whisper of
Wait, so our first day was the third or the second? That
Well,
we-
yeah.
The second, that
second,
breakdown is from the
okay.
third, but I could pull that report.
No, no, I was just, because I know the second is probably one of the worst days we face for call-outs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that and some probably near.
And the Friday before,
Right,
like, you know, I
yeah.
think that was the 15th, so we looked at those days, and, you know, from the second, you know, we were at 82.7%, you know, and then you see the next day, we jumped up to 90%. So, yeah, we will have some days where our fill rate is a little lower, but, you know, that's gonna be a story.
It's okay, so
We'll work on that.
they hit in the 80s on our worst day.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The enrollment of the available pool of people, do you believe we've captured everyone, or did we lose people that we've had in the past?
You know, 4 or 5 substitutes who worked for us did not transfer over to Source for Teachers, but everybody else did. We met with them, we put all of
That's
the
very
rumors to
good,
rest, we've been
yeah.
working, and, you know, I mean, I personally have not received, and it comes out of my office, you know, a complaint in, you know, 4 full working days, and, you know, to get through the first, usually, you know, 4 or 5 days, everything, you know, goes smooth. Now, we will, you know, with everything else, you know, deal with the bumps that we have and make adjustments, and, you know, but, you know, again, in 4 school days, to see the positive change that we've had, you know, it's really, you know, a fine job.
And should anything happen with people in more administrative positions, those replacements are also available through that, or you just move staff?
So
Around
as we
this point,
discussed in the
Michael.
past, Dr.
Yeah.
Blanco, you know, gave me the duty of going back to retirement.
So now it's a different level of criteria and certifications.
Our administrative positions would be filled by, hopefully, a ex-administrator from the Bayonne Board of Ed, if they're interested.
Very good.
All right, again, I would like to thank the board for supporting us with this program, and also Mr. Lopez for all the hard work to get it up and running.
Good job.
The Office of Curriculum and Instruction is preparing for the upcoming state and district assessments that will be administered next week. Actually, we did some park testing today, and we're pleased to announce that tonight our Building Bridges Through Bayonne Human Library program will begin at 7:35 tonight. Dr. Degnan is prepared to give you an update at this time. Dr. Degnan?
Thank you, Dr. Blanco, and good evening, trustees. The Building Bridges program is something that was this evening. I know because of the snow, we will not be able to attend, but to bring the trustees up to speed, Director Ward and our teacher, Jean Wood, have had this program. What is I Learn America? It's a film that tells the tale of 5 high school students who are newly arrived immigrants from all over the world. It's set in the International High School in Lafayette, Brooklyn, a public high school, and they follow the students' struggles and triumphs as they battle to master English, adapt to families they haven't seen in years, and create a future of their own in a new place. So we do have the director of the film in. And attendees will have the opportunity to examine artwork created by the students at Bayonne High School, view the film, and enjoy some light refreshments while mingling with the community members. Additionally, several students from Bayonne High School present their own stories and reveal how I Learn America inspired them. So it's a truly collaborative community and teaching event.
Is that being filmed, especially since you're here? Is that
Correct.
being filmed and we can see it
I spoke to
later?
Mr. Pondillo, and we have somebody filming that.
Okay.
I also have the flyers, I know.
Because we haven't cloned
Yeah,
everybody,
I'll
yeah.
send that out to you. And of course, we plan, and with your support, again, we talked about the park. There was a new NJDOE regulation about providing park for students in the cohort class of 2021 that did not meet expectations on Algebra 1, but would have an additional opportunity to take the test. We planned to have the test today, of course, we're out yesterday, we're out Thursday and Friday, so we had to move the day up. There were 56 students prepared to take the test. We did have 54 start the test today. We'll work, those 2 that were absent, we'll get them started tomorrow. We had 3 locations going. We worked in the library with 49 students. We had 3 students in Mr. Baccarella's main office, and 4 students take the test here, extended time, opposite my office. So again, now these students, because of your efforts, whether they meet expectations or not, will still have the opportunity to graduate because of either portfolio or appeal. And we can also offer these students, again, another opportunity to take that test in the summer when we do our credit recovery. So I thank you again for providing this service to our students, and it's the first time we've done the PARC test, which is called the fall block, early in the winter.
These particular students, okay, chances are they're not doing well in the park. Chances are they're probably not doing well in, say, taking SATs or whatever. Are we bringing them in and making sure that we have some other plan for these particular guys or ladies or?
For the students that did not pass the Algebra 1 part, well, we do have the refresher course, and I know.
No, I'm not talking about as far as I'm saying another field or something, like a future for them, is what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, like a career?
Like, I think this is something I'm talking about, that really the guidance counselor has to bring this person in and say, hey, where are we going here? And you know, I think that's very important, because these are the poor students, I think, that eventually they're gonna get out with that piece of paper, and that's it.
And I think we are fortunate because we do have that counselor, that grade 9 counselor, who is meeting with those students also, so we have that opportunity. And then we also have the deans that are helping them make the correct academic choices. And of course, there are pathways now for those students with our career fields.
It got reaching into our survey that was starting, I see
Yeah.
that, so I'm very happy to see that going forward, and I think that's gonna be a great, you know, thing for the city of Bayonne and the county, if we can work in that direction.
Well, President Patrick, I really don't, what you're saying, I think, is very, very, very important. And to me, the criterion of passing the park is just one thing that we have to do as far as the state. But what you're referencing is preparing students, whether they pass Algebra 1 park or they do the portfolio appeal, what you're mentioning is the importance of preparing the kids for the workforce. Can we get them a job? And, you know, Algebra 1 is not a requirement, as far as I'm concerned, to be ready for the work world. But the State Department of Education says that it is. Again, my point is, whether they pass it or not, we should pay attention to what you're saying. We should recognize the fact that these students do have to enter the workforce, and we should be working on that, whether it's through guidance or in the career academies, or how, you know, I understand we're going to kind of like move up on the vocational development programs that we have here, hopefully sometime in the next year or two.
That's the survey that Mr. Broderick was referring to, that really, and it's not only going to be for students, it's going to be for people who live in the community who might want to be retrained. So there'll be program during the day and then a twilight program as well.
The deans are an extra level of assistance that we didn't have before.
Right, and actually, they, one of the deans and the vice principals were off-site today. They were two of the absences that were considered workshops at a school where deans are already in place to get that feedback. And then we have a person who's coming in to meet with all of the deans and vice principals to go over their strategies as well.
Very good.
I just think right now we're in a good direction, and I hope the direction just keeps going. You know, I'd like to see, I'm hoping the road's downhill, put it that way. I'm tired of going uphill all the time.
So just in conclusion, when do you when do you expect to get the results for these next few days' math testing?
I would hope they would come back earlier. I would think April. I would hope April.
Because then you could start the appeal process if they are seniors, right?
And we could start the appeal process whether we have the score or not, and that would be the parachute. So if they pass, we're good. If they didn't, they have it.
All right.
I remember the SRA that we used to do.
Oh, yes, I was the queen of SRA.
I know.
That's all right.
Thank you, Dr. Degnan. Mr. Smith will now explain the waiver program that you've heard about for the preschool program, where we need rooms that are below that 950 square foot requirement. He will also give you some additional information on heating concerns and repairs in the district. Mr. Smith?
Right, thank you, Dr. Wanko. As Dr. Wanko said, the preschool education expansion aid that we were notified in August that we were able to receive, we were able to get the 7 full-time class, well, we had 1 full-time classroom running, but we were able to get an additional 6 classrooms up and running. Out of those 6, 4 needed waivers because they fell under the 950 square foot rule established by the state. And we received those waivers by you passing a resolution and then it going to the county, and then we were notified by the county that those rooms were acceptable. Now what the state wants to do is they want all of our rooms to be 950 square feet. So we have an additional 17 classrooms that we have to look at, 12 of which will need waivers. And all the information is in your packet. So by passing the resolution tonight, once you sign off on it, we will again send it to the county superintendent, and they will give us the okay to hold those classes in those rooms. This was something that was just thrown at us a couple of weeks ago. We decided to bring it to this meeting so we would be that much ahead of the curve, because our next meeting isn't until January 31st, I believe. So by sending it up to the county tomorrow, we'll be at the forefront to get the county superintendent's approval for a waiver. When you talk about 950 square feet and you look at some of our rooms, some of them are as low as 670 square feet. Some are a couple feet shy of that minimum. Where it really comes into play is nap time, when we have to put those little cots out. And if you get a chance, try to visit some of our preschool. They are so tiny. They're 3 and 4 years old, and the cots take up a lot of room. So we've come up with innovative ways of storing them outside of the classroom. But come that nap time, these students, we lay them out, the teachers and the staff lay them out, and these kids do take a nap. But all the rooms are up and running. The process is working. It's phenomenal. What this Board of Education was able to do, being notified in mid-August, to get the program up and running, that full-time program with that lottery, and it just speaks volumes about the direction that this Board of Education is going in. And so if you'd like to take a visit, if you're around during the day, one day, I'll pick you up and we can go visit a couple pre-K rooms, and you really get a feel of what's going on in those rooms. And the bottom line is, when we reach those children at that tender age, the payoff is when they get up to the high school, and they're that much more ahead of the curve, so to speak. And so we're doing wonderful things in that area. As far as heat, we ran into a couple problems today that we didn't know we had, because we have a thaw now. And when pipes thaw, that's when you notice the little pinholes and leaks. We had three small leaks in the district, a steam leak last night in the Photoshop lab on the second floor of the 30th Street wing. It did drip down into the carpentry shop. Our staff was able to clean it up. We had a small problem at number 1 school with a small steam leak that we were able to address. And we had a much larger problem up at number 9 school that we had to call our vendor inline in to address. And they're working on that as we speak. But as pipes thaw now, and they're not frozen, you'll be able to see a lot more. And our buildings do average 85 years old. And some of those heating system and those pipes are original equipment, the ones that are breaking down. Hey, I'm gonna be 65 and some of my pipes are breaking down. So that's all I have, Dr. Wanko. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Yes.
Considering the age of our schools, the staff does a tremendous job maintaining them. And obviously, our vendors are helping too when we need them. But get a mandate of 950 square feet per room, no money comes with that. You get schools that are 85 plus years old, and some of them near 100, and we keep giving abatements instead of getting new schools. I still would like to, is it called a silo that you call it?
Silo, school in lieu of
We
tax.
really need to be verbal about this. We need help. But God bless everybody who's actually keeping these schools running. It's,
They do a great job, I
yeah.
say.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I would like to wish everyone a healthy, happy, and prosperous New Year, and that concludes my report unless there are questions. Hearing none, I turn it back to Dr. Maida.
We'll adjourn to a closed session for legal, personnel, negotiation items. It is 6:05. The board will return for their public meeting.